When the spotted lanternfly was discovered in 2014, it quickly became apparent that the insect posed a serious risk to the agricultural economy and natural resources of Pennsylvania and beyond. The Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture, or PDA, was called upon to combat these invaders. First, the PDA surveyed the area to determine the extent of the infestation. Then the PDA set up a statewide monitoring system to continue to track the invasion. As the magnitude of the threat became apparent, other states across the country established their own spotted lanternfly monitoring programs. Here's an example of a spotted lanternfly survey map of Pennsylvania. The red dots indicate the presence of established populations. The green dots are where the PDA has looked for the pest and found no populations. The negative data are important. Not only do they show where the insect is not present, they also demonstrate to trading partners that the state is actively monitoring for the pest. This is a critical message for businesses that sell their commodities to interstate and international markets. In 2014, spotted lanternfly populations were detected in 5 townships in Berks County, Pennsylvania. The PDA set up a quarantine zone that included these areas in order to slow the spread of the pest. The quarantine prohibits the movement of any living life stage of spotted lanternfly to areas outside of the quarantine zone. The quarantine does not mean people cannot move items out of the quarantine zone. It does mean that people must inspect before they move items. With continued surveying and assistance from the public, spotted lanternflies were detected in new areas and the quarantine zone grew to include these areas. At first, the quarantine zones went by townships. However, it was often difficult for people to determine if they lived in the quarantine zone. In the fall of 2017, the PDA stopped assigning areas to the quarantine zone by township and started assigning areas to the quarantine zone by entire counties. As insect populations are found in other states, those states are establishing their own quarantine zones, sometimes by county, sometimes by municipality, or even zip code. Here is a map of the states with known spotted lanternfly infestations. The blue areas are where the spotted lanternfly infestations have been confirmed. The areas outlined in black represent internal state quarantines, which means that the states set up these areas within their own boundaries. Conditions and regulations are changing rapidly. As infestations are discovered, quarantine zones are expanded. For the latest quarantine information for a state, check with the state's Department of Agriculture website. As you can see, the quarantines haven't completely stopped the spread of this invasive insect, but they have slowed it down, giving science more time to find answers for control. This extra time also helps those in agricultural and natural resource industries prepare for this dreaded invader. As you move within and outside of the quarantine zone, please comply with the quarantine by inspecting your equipment and vehicles for spotted lanternfly. Please help us slow or even stop the spread of these costly invaders.